In this video module, I want to talk to dealership managers and everyone who's involved in planning a digital retailing strategy. For the most part, digital retailing was overhyped many years ago. The early promises to dealers were that if you installed these tools on the website, man, people would start buying cars online. It would be faster, easier, and put your dealership on the road to the future. But the truth of the matter is that many dealers are on their third digital retailing platform. So in this video coaching module, I want to share with you some of my experiences on the road for the last 2 years. Glenn and I have been actively helping dealers plan, transform, and implement a modern retail process at their dealerships, and I'd like to share some of those learnings with you. There are a lot of companies out there advertising each week. It seems like there's a new company that's advertising a digital retailing solution. There seems to be 3 camps of digital retailing tools. One that say, listen, if you put new tools on your website, if you give consumers the ability to do more of the transaction online, they will feel better about your dealership, and it's a step forward in transparency. Others say, well, listen, putting anything online makes no sense if the showroom experience is, business as usual. So there's another whole set of companies that have started to build their technology from the inside of the dealership, meaning get the inside sales process working beautifully before you put something out online. And then there are companies that have both tools for in-store and online, and getting these tools to work, you would think would be even easier than one or the other solution, but the truth of the matter is, all change is difficult for dealers. And of course, there's some new tools on the market that are not full digital retailing tools, but actually a major step forward for dealers who are not really sure if they want to upend their business model, but really want to give consumers the ability to pencil their own deal anywhere the consumer wants to be at any time. And companies like Frickin' Tech are doing an amazing job in providing a bridge for dealers who want to create a more modern retail experience. But from what Glenn and I experience in the field, the success of digital retailing isn't which company's technology you pick, but rather the leadership that the dealership has, the willingness to create a plan and stick to it, even if it's difficult. Leadership is 50% of the success story. And then, yes, technology is important, 20%, but the other 2 pieces that dealers forget about is the marketing and merchandising. This is not field of dreams, build it and he will come, meaning you're going to have to educate consumers that there's a new way to buy a car, especially if the last time that someone bought a car at your dealership and it took 4 hours to get the deal done, why would they ever come back if they're focused on faster, easier, and mostly online in all their other retail transactions? So, if this is the case, what are the leadership decisions that a dealership has to make in order to be a successful change agent at their dealership? Every manufacturer has their own plan for digital retailing. Some are more public than others, but I think behind the scenes, in the corporate boardrooms, in planning meetings, every OEM has a similar path. A better online experience that includes more transparent pricing, that allows a consumer to do as much as they want, and then when somebody comes into the showroom, they pick up where they left off online, to have a more interactive sales experience leading to a more confident purchase decision, which will include a lift in customer loyalty and customer satisfaction. It's a win-win for the manufacturer, for the dealer, and the consumer. If anybody tells you digital retailing is awesome, I'd say, what planet are they on? For the most part, digital retailing has few success stories that are truly documented. Now, those success stories are growing, but I will tell you that there's a lot of bumps in the road, a lot of band-aids that dealers have to rip off in order to make digital retailing a success. Dealer readiness for digital retailing is not what most people would think, meaning someone can raise their hand and say, I want to do digital retailing, but is the dealership ready? Well, what we found is dealers really aren't ready. They don't know what they're getting into. Now, the coronavirus is, I think, the perfect storm for digital retailing in the fact that dealers are realizing we could be living in a future world where these concerns or quarantines become more commonplace, and how do we keep business moving on at a normal pace? The digital retailing technology is getting better, but I give it a C or a B minus at best. Why? There's still a lot of customization. There's still a lot of bugs in the software that don't fit all business models. But consumers want a faster, easier, mostly online sales process because they experience that for every other aspect of their retail purchase life. And it's time for the automotive community to wake up. As I work with dealers, everyone wants a competitive edge. Everyone wants a new way to sell more cars at a lower cost. But the truth of the matter is, one of the biggest roadblocks in success was, how do we communicate this modern brand promise? How do you want the consumer to feel when they're on your website and feel when they come into the showroom? What are you going to change to make things, well, a wow experience for consumers? This is actually harder than most dealers think. And then, of course, the simplification of the dealer's website. You would say, oh man, dealers are ready to simplify their website. I don't think so. There are dealers with 7, 8, 10 call to action buttons. Some dealers have 2 different trade-in tools on each VDP. Sometimes they repeat the trade-in call to action 3 times on the same VDP. We got to really understand that part of digital retailing, if we're going to buy into it, is to drive people through the tool, meaning it has to be a clear call to action button on your SRPs and VDPs. And then lastly, seamless communication. One of the challenges with digital retailing is, how do we pick up the conversation when the consumer comes in? And I'm going to give you some ideas today about that. A little over a year ago, I wrote this book with co-author Thomas Gage, and we asked consumers if you could create an ideal buying experience in the future. The next time you buy a car, describe that in 2 words. And here's the graph that represents the consumer's responses. Consumers want it faster, easier, mostly online, to save themselves time so they can do more fun things. Spending 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday buying a car is not a fun thing. Test driving, fun thing. Learning about the car, fun thing. Sitting an hour and a half for the F&I office to open up, not a fun thing. The truth of the matter is, there are companies and dealers working hard to transform automotive retail. This is one of the best brand promises in the country. This is the Schomp Automotive Group. 1 price, 1 person, 1 hour. They have a single point of contact, and once somebody determines which car they want, meaning after their test drive, they'll get them in and out within an hour. And even if it's an hour and 15 minutes, consumers aren't complaining. Why? Because they've taken the friction out of the car buying process. There are dealers all around the country that we're working with to create a modern retail experience and a brand promise, whether it's Newton FastPass or U Steer or the Weiler Group with Weiler Direct. These are 3 examples of companies that are proactively reinventing their business to stay relevant with the consumer. You see, a modern brand promise, a marketing message to consumers, should span both sales and service. Many dealers are focusing on a brand promise that's talking about just the buying experience, like I buy. Okay, what does I buy mean? Well, you can buy your next car online. What does that have to do with service? Nothing. It has nothing to do with service. Okay, so why can't we imagine a world where consumers come to us because it's faster, easier, mostly online for sales and service? You get it? Meaning we need to be able to deliver an experience at retail that consumers love, whether it's in the buying process or the maintenance process. Why do dealers not have a modern brand promise? Well, from my observation, traveling around the country, dealers recycle 5 common marketing messages. Here they are. We are the largest. We are the cheapest. we are the oldest, we are the friendliest, or we have the most awards. And honestly, none of them really appeal to a wide range of consumers. A small group might like that you've been in business 50 years, but if you wanted to have a message that could connect with the majority of consumers or all the consumers in your market, it would have to be time and convenience. Consumers look for all retail experiences to be faster, easier, mostly online, to save them time. You order your coffee online at Starbucks to save time. You order your television at Best Buy just so you can get in and out quickly. Automotive retail needs to have elements of faster, easier, mostly online, to save time. So what does a modern brand promise look like? Let's take a look at this fictitious company, ABC Toyota. Your brand promise should be able to apply to sales and service. Here is ABC Toyota Fastlane. So Fastlane is the technology behind their brand promise, the fastest and easiest way to buy your next vehicle. Okay, but it could apply to service as well. Fastlane, the fastest and easiest way to service your vehicle. Do you understand? The word fast lane or fast pass or express lane can be used for sales and service. But of course, that means nothing yet. So you have to build out the message. Let's look at 5 building blocks to the brand promise. Clear pricing on all our vehicles on our website. Customize your payments, calculate your trade-in online to save you time. Schedule a visit, and here it is, we'll pick up exactly where you left off. After you test drive and select a vehicle, we'll get you out within an hour. And buy with confidence with our 7-day exchange program. Do you understand? A modern brand promise is foundational to support your digital retailing effort. Just bolting Roadster on your website, just bolting Buy Now, or bolting on any digital retailing tool, well, what's that going to do for your business? People are going to have to stumble on it? Is that a plan? That's not a plan to leverage digital retailing. That's why when dealers really get into the weeds, they realize that leadership is 50%, technology is 20%, but 2 other key pieces are marketing and merchandising, which I'm going to talk about in this video. How would a video communicate this modern brand promise? I'm not a script writer, but let's take a look at this movie scene. The first concept is that you have a video that covers the entire experience, and let's just say that's 30 seconds in length. But then you should break up each piece of your modern retail process into its own video. Let's look at these videos. The first 15-second video is a woman. She's on the web, she's on her mobile phone, and she's on your website, and the voice track says something like, using our Fastlane technology, you can scan our large inventory of vehicles and find the perfect car that you like in seconds. That's life in the fast lane. And then the second video is the same woman at home. Maybe she's on her MacBook in the kitchen. And the voiceover says something like this. Customize your payments, estimate your trade-in value, do most of the work from home to save you time in the dealership. That's life in the fast lane. The third video is her walking into the dealership now, camera over the shoulder, walking in to the reception desk, and the voiceover says, since you've used our Fastlane technology, just come into the store and get right into the Fastlane, where you'll be greeted by our sales team. We'll review your work online and get you started on your sales process. That's life in the Fastlane. You see, I can direct the consumer by telling them the experience that they're going to have in your modern retail experience. Let's look at the fourth video. Test drive as many cars as you like and find the perfect car that meets your needs. After you find that car, we'll get you in and out within an hour. We respect your time. That's life in the fast lane. And then the last video is sign a few papers. We'll take as much time as you need to go over the car, and then we'll get you on the road enjoying your new vehicle. That's life in the fast lane. You see what I'm doing? I'm taking the time to build a marketing strategy that supports the customer experience that I want consumers to have. The technology just is the foundational tools to allow that, but it's leadership and training, vision, marketing, and merchandising. As we've traveled around the country, there are things that we've learned, some we didn't expect and some we did expect. One of the things that stood out to me is that dealers really haven't been looking at their websites. That's right. They have not been looking at their websites to see how difficult they make it for consumers to get even a price on a vehicle, let alone try to understand the affordability of a car. We were also surprised at how impatient dealers were in digital retailing technology, meaning there are dealers that were saying, yeah, we're on our third platform. Why? Well, the first one didn't work and the second one didn't work. And I said, whoa, stop. It's likely that the third one is not going to work as well because it's not about the technology. It's what's your vision? How are you going to get there? How are you going to market it? What do you have to change internally inside the dealership to achieve this vision? I mentioned that Glenn and I travel around the country helping dealers with their digital retailing installation. The truth of the matter is that even the best digital retailing companies don't cover all the areas of change management that need to be addressed. And of course, marketing and merchandising are two of those things. But there's other things that need to be considered is, okay, training, pay plans. Do you want to have an F&I department or not? There's a lot of structural things and leadership decisions that people have to make. But here's one thing that's for sure needed. It is a clear marketing strategy. That is my strength. Glenn's strength is in the process and the human resource side of the transformation. And I will tell you this, if you don't have a way to market your digital retailing, if it's not properly merchandised on your website, you will never truly maximize the benefits of your digital retailing investments. So you need to start with, what is the customer experience I want? And then you're going to need to determine what type of training and changes need to be in place. You're going to develop those checklists to make sure that change management is truly happening. And then you have to inspect that the processes are working. It's so amazing when Glenn goes into CRM platforms to see how these digital retailing leads are being handled. It's like, wow, man. There are some stores that were just treating them the same as if the person submitted a lead on cars.com or it was a true car lead. I'm like, no. This is a different experience, a different commitment of the consumer to really work through their payments. And then measurement. And this is one of the hardest things because it's not easy today to say how many cars were sold from digital retailing. And that's, well, another whole conversation in itself. I will tell you this, don't expect digital retailing to be something where consumers are going to be completing the entire transaction online. In fact, probably 90% of the consumers only complete certain steps of the DR tool, but they feel so much better and they feel more in control of the process. Look at it as a step towards full retail transactions online, but we're a little way off from that to make it a reality. Now that completes my overview on digital retailing, but now I want to give you some tactical advice on how to jump in and, well, make some changes today that can support your digital retailing efforts or bring the dealership closer to a point where you can embrace digital retailing.